If you want to know how to become a Navy fighter pilot, I can give you a little bit of advice. I actually managed to do it. I flew that beast that you see right there. I was an F-18 pilot for the Navy for about 15 years. Before that, I actually flew as a naval flight officer in the S-3. So I actually did a NFO, which is Naval Flight Officer to Pilot transition along the way in my career. But the process for becoming a fighter pilot in the Navy begins at the very beginning with a college degree. You're going to have a college degree because you've got to be a commissioned officer in order to become a pilot for the United States Navy. The only way to become a commissioned officer is to get a commission, and the Navy will only offer you a commission if you are, in fact, college educated. So you got to start there. All right, now you can go to college anywhere you want to go. You can go to any university you want to go to. You can go just be like any other college kid. You can do an ROTC program. You can even go to one of the academies. But regardless of what you decide to do, when you come out the backside of school now, you're going to need that commission from the United States Navy. And that commission can either come from one of the academies. If you go there, it's kind of automatic when you graduate. Okay, you can do the ROTC program, which is, at any one of the universities, they have ROTC programs. It doesn't matter what branch it is. When you graduate, you'll be given the opportunity to get a commission because you've had your ROTC training. Or you can just go be a regular college guy like I did for 4 years, 4.5. And on the backside of that, you can go to officer candidate school. Just talk to your officer recruiter for whatever branch of the military you're looking into, or if it's the Navy, talk to the Navy's officer recruiter, and just tell them that you want to come in as an officer, you want to go to officer candidate school, and they'll get it all set up once you have your degree and all that, okay? Then you're going to need to go to officer candidate school. Now listen to me carefully here. When you are negotiating with the recruiter, the officer recruiter, make sure that you get them to guarantee you a flying contract. In other words, that when you graduate from OCS or when you graduate from ROTC, that you will be assigned to go to flight school and become a pilot. If you don't do that in advance, someone will try to railroad you into a different career path. Just trust me and believe me when I tell you this, okay? So if you do that well now, what you'll find out is that you graduate, you get your commission, and off you go to flight school. Flight school is going to be a 3-year process. You're going to learn to fly airplanes for the first 2 years. You're going to learn to fly whatever aircraft that you get put into, whether it's jets or big wings or helicopters, and they're all cool, by the way. All of them have awesome missions. I know you said you wanted to be a fighter pilot, and I'm going to talk to you about how to do that. But if you ended up in another type of aircraft, it's just as good. You're going to have just as much fun. I promise you, every pilot I've ever known in the service loves the platform that they came from, okay? You'll end up having a love affair with your platform no matter what it is. But if you want to set out now with the goal of being a fighter pilot, then you're going to have to go through flight school first, and then you're going to have to compete for what platform you want. So you're going to need to get the very best grades in that first 2 years of flight school that you possibly can. Then they'll send you off to learn how to fly your fleet aircraft. If you're going to be a jet guy in the Navy, you're going to fly Hornets. That's pretty much your only options these days, right? So you're going to get sent off to fly the F-18 Hornet. You're going to go to the RAG or the FRS, the Fleet Replacement Squadron, and that's where you're going to learn to fly the Hornet. And again, now you're competing for what coast you want to live on, what squadron you want to go to, all that kind of stuff. To get to the FRS now takes about a year, and so now at this point you've been flying airplanes for about 3 years. Now you're going to go to an operational squadron, and you're going to be another 3 years before you are like a full up and qualified, I can go flying on my own without any parental supervision kind of fighter pilot, okay? So it is a process. 6 years. Get ready to work your tail feathers off. Make sure that you get great grades in college. Make sure you're better than your peers in flight school. Make sure you compete to be number one everywhere you go. There is no community, more so than the jet community in the Navy, that is a second place is the first loser kind of community. So you want to be competitive. You always want to strive to be the best. If you do that now, you'll have your choice of duty. You'll have your choice of aircraft most of the time. Unless the Navy comes along and tells you that the needs of the Navy dictate otherwise, which sometimes that does happen. And I'm transitioning out now. I've done my time. I've done my 20 years. Moving on into the civilian world, doing some e-commerce, doing some online marketing, which I absolutely love. I absolutely have fallen in love with what I'm doing now. People think I'm crazy. They're like, Brian, you flew jet aircraft for a living, and now you're like love doing online marketing. Are you kidding me? I'm making a fantastic living from behind a computer screen. I never leave my house. It's hard to beat that. If you want to know a little bit more about that, you can click on the link below the video. It'll take you to workingwithbrian.com. But if you want to be a fighter pilot in the Navy, hopefully that advice will help you along the way. If you have any questions, leave me a comment under the video. I'll see if I can get back to you and answer any of the questions that you may have. But I wish you the best of luck.